Welcome back to Happy Apple Core Homestead. Today I'm going to talk about how to preserve shelling peas, and I'm just very quickly going to go through all of the steps for you. I would bring you something more interesting, but this is my life right now. This is all day, every day, and it will be for a little while, so I thought I would just share it with you. Some of you might be wondering how to preserve your shelling peas, especially if you're growing a huge quantity like I am. Now, I'm not going to be canning these peas, but I'm going to preserve them for long-term use by freezing them. There are some important steps along the way though, so make sure you stay tuned. If you want to see my shelling peas, please check out my July garden tour video. You will see all of them in their glory. I am getting a 5-gallon bucket of shelling peas per day. It takes me 2 hours to pick them. And I recommend that when you pick your shelling peas that you use a nice sharp clipper instead of just yanking them off, because even though they are up on the trellises, they're still fragile, and they're really attached hard. Unlike strawberries where you can just like pluck them off and they come off really nice and easy, shelling peas are very attached to their plant, and so a good nipper is recommended. Also, it is really hot here right now in the Pacific Northwest, so I suggest that you go out early in the morning or late at night, depending on your schedule, to pick your peas. I go early in the morning and just get it out of the way before the heat of the day, and then I can come inside or alternatively find a nice spot in the shade outside to shell the peas. So what you're going to need obviously is some 5-gallon buckets, and I have 3 here in front of me right now because I actually harvested a 5-gallon bucket yesterday but did not have time to shell them. So I got another 5-gallon bucket this morning and I went ahead and did those already and thought, you know what, I want to talk to you guys today too. So I thought I would show you my second batch, and this whole thing is full of shelling peas. And they usually will be fine, especially, early to mid-season, to leave over for a day before you shell them, as long as they stay in a pretty cool spot. I do have air conditioning in one room of the house, and I just put this bucket in there and they're totally fine. You will also need something to put the shells in, and I just use another bucket for that. You can, once you're done with these, you can give them to your chickens, but they're not really going to eat them, but they might like to scratch around, and if there's any tiny little bugs or little peas that you missed, they will enjoy those. But at least my flock they're not big fans of the shells. So most of the time I'll just put them on my compost pile. I'll give them 1 bucket per season, and then the rest go on my compost pile. Then you're also going to need a bowl of some kind. I just have this big giant colander here, and this is about how much you get from a 5-gallon bucket. Approximately a gallon or a little bit over a gallon of peas is what you're going to get. And then it's very easy. Just snap the pea pod just like that, open it up, and just swipe the peas right into your bowl, and the shells go in the other bucket. This process here takes me 2.5 hours to do a full bucket, and so I really love to just get my laptop out and put on a movie. I love movies and I never have time to watch them, so this way I can be doing something productive for the household and also get my movie fix at the same time. Once all of these are done, we have to rinse them and we have to blanch them before we prep them for freezing, and that is what I'm going to show you how to do next. It's the next day. This took a very long time for me to get all of the peas done, and so I went ahead and just put my bowls in the fridge overnight, and it worked out perfectly. It's not going to hurt them or anything. I don't wash them ahead of time though. Our next step is to blanch the peas in preparation for freezing. I also have lots of trays here. I will need all of these trays and maybe a couple more. What we're going to do is line each one of these trays with parchment paper. I have that here. I like to use these pre-cut baking sheets because they're the perfect size for my tray. I just open them up and then tear them in half, and they're the perfect size. Adding the parchment paper to the sheets here will prevent a lot of the sticking that can happen in the freezing process, especially if there's any water left over on the peas. And you'll notice I'm not going to dry my peas. I really don't find that it's necessary, and it just takes a lot of extra time. So we've got these in half, and we'll line each tray with the parchment paper, and I ran out, so I've got to go grab some more. I'll get that taken care of. Next, we're going to get all of these peas washed, and we're going to start a large pot of water on the stove and get that boiling. While your water is boiling, make sure to get a big batch of ice prepared. So if you have an ice maker, go ahead and get that ice put into a container, because as soon as we boil these for about a minute, we're gonna be plunging the peas right into an ice bath. The purpose of blanching the peas is to stop the enzyme process, and it will just make them taste fresh for as long as you wish to store them in your freezer. The ice bath is equally important because it stops the cooking process. We don't want frozen mushy peas, right? The water is basically boiling, and right over here we have our ice bath. That's 50% water, 50% ice. Make sure to leave enough room in your container for the peas. And in the peas go. If you missed any little peas that were buggy, that had like a little, wormy inside or something, I do suggest that you watch them carefully when you're doing the shelling process. But if you miss one, you will definitely find them in this process. So there's one right there, and I know it's just a little bit of extra protein, but I prefer to remove them. And they will be very easy to spot in this process right here, whereas sometimes they can be missed in the shelling. Okay, that's not bad. Just missed two, which, considering I don't know why my peas are getting buggy right now. They normally don't until the season is almost over, so I'm just wondering if maybe my plants are like, this season is over. Now that you have cooked these for 1 to 2 minutes, it's time to put them into their ice bath. I like this little silicone colander to clip onto the edge of my pot to make the straining process a lot better than just using a spoon. You get less water all over the place, that's for sure. You guys know I'm a messy cook. If you only had one pot to do, you could add your ice and cold water to this pot here, but I have another batch to do. That's why I've got that secondary pot over there. And I've used up all my big bowls. Okay, there we go. Into the ice bath it goes. Give that a good stir. And put some more ice on top, and just let it cool down and melt at its own pace. You can go take a break for a while, or do your second batch if you have one like I do. Once this gets melted, we'll come back for the next step. The ice has melted, and this batch of peas is ready to put in the freezer. I did strain the water off, and we're just going to make a nice layer right here on the parchment paper. If you don't have a lot of freezer space for your trays, or you don't have very many trays, you can put a piece of parchment paper on top of this layer and then put another layer of peas on top of that. That will definitely save some space for you. And that is something I do when I'm making hash browns. I don't usually do it with the peas. but there's no reason not to. Okay, and there we go. There's our first tray. I don't want to tip it too far. And then I just cover it up with foil, but if you do not want to use foil, you can use like a cotton cloth and just cover it up just so that you can stack your trays. It's nice to have a little bit of cover to protect your food from any contaminants. Next, this is going to go into the freezer, probably overnight, but really, usually just a few hours is all it takes because they're already very, very, very cold. So put them in the freezer for a couple of hours, and then we'll move on to the next step, which is to vacuum seal them. Now that your pea trays are all frozen, it's time to get them out of here and into a bag. Technically, you can just use like a freezer Ziploc bag if you want to and try to push as much air out as possible, but I find that using a food saver bag, so any kind of vacuum seal bag, is the best way to preserve these long term in your freezer. They won't get freezer burned for a super long time. As long as that seal doesn't break, the peas are going to be good for at least 2 years, maybe longer. You will also need a pen to mark your bag. I like to put what's in the bag and the date. That way, if one does get, shuffled down to the bottom of my freezer and it's, 2 or 3 years old, at least I know and can decide if I want to eat it or not. Peas do not last long in my house. I think if you have been following me for any period of time, you know that I am absolutely in love with English pea salad. I look forward to eating it every single year, and this year is no exception. And that's another reason actually why I don't can my peas. These peas are so tender that canning them does tend to make them a little bit mushy, and because I have the freezer space, they taste just like fresh when you open up the bag, even if they're, a year old. Let's head on over to the food saver and I'll show you this last step. First thing I'll do is pull out a bag. I have a roll of bags in there so I can make them, little or huge. The food saver bags that I buy, I think they're just generic and they come from Costco and they have all different size bags. And then you'll just write what it is with the date. I recommend that you give a little tap. I'm not going to do it right now because it'll be jarring for your ears, but I've already tapped this and it just loosens the peas from the parchment paper a little bit, so it's easier to get off. Now you just scoop your peas right into your bag, however many you want for your serving size. And I think about the kinds of meals that I like to make with my peas when I'm deciding what size bag to use and how much peas to put in each one. For the English pea salad, I might use this whole tray. For soups and casseroles, I'll just do half of the tray. And then sometimes I like to do just a tiny bag in case I just want a little snack. Frozen peas make a great snack. One of my daughters loves to just eat the frozen fresh peas. It's a great healthy snack and it's especially nice on a hot summer day like today. Okay, and then you just pop it right into your vacuum seal, and I'm going to turn the sound off so you can't hear the ugly noise that it makes, but you'll be able to see it vacuum up.
And that's the finished product. I could have made that a little bit flatter. It's nice to make them as flat as possible for stacking in the freezer. But that's what it looks like. And now I'm going to finish up the rest of those trays and I'll be right back.
And that's it for this short little video for you. That's how you preserve peas the best way I know how as far as freezing goes. Of course, you can can them, you can do all different kinds of things, but my favorite way is to freeze them. And we have 15 large meals here. And to recap, it takes about 2 hours to pick 5 gallons of shelling peas, and it takes about 2.5 hours to shell them, and then about another hour to blanch them and do the ice bath. And really this part is the quickest, just putting them into their food saver bags. But now I'm meal prepped. I have this great addition for either my English pea salad or casseroles or soups, and it's especially great in the winter time. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you next time. Bye!